Hello, good afternoon, traders. This is Baja Pips. Today is Monday, August 14th, 2023, 1:45 p.m. Today I'm going to be doing a weekly technical breakdown, and I'm going to break down several pairs in the Forex and stock market. Also going to break down some futures pairs and just get ready for the week ahead. This is my usual swing trading outlook for the week. So I do this at least once a week. Sometimes I'll have a midweek technical breakdown, but just about every week I post a weekly technical breakdown on Sunday or Monday. So let's get started with USD CAD. Last week, the markets were kind of moving sideways. I didn't really find many opportunity, and the ones that I did was not really that great. So we'll see how this week has in movement. We'll see what's going on. And first and foremost, I want to look at the 7-day outlook. So here's the economic calendar for today. We can see that rolling around. There's no high impact news. Today is August 14th. It's actually a very clear day. Now I want to look at the next 7 days so I can see if there's anything to look out for. Unemployment rate for UK, it's a high impact if I'm day trading, but nothing should impact my swing trades. There is an economic sentiment since the central bank meeting, so definitely be careful about this. It happens, I believe, once a month. And so that's going to be something I'm going to look out for. This is actually going to happen tomorrow on the 15th. So Eurozone, be careful. There's some inflation in Canada, no big deal. Other than tomorrow, there's some high impact news. Just watch out for if you're day trading, but for swing trades, I just see tomorrow. And then the 17th is in a few days. There's some FOMC minutes. So this is also a central bank meeting. Looks like there's a couple little central bank meetings this week, but other than tomorrow and the 17th, I think we have a pretty clear week for swing trades. That's all I really wanted to check out on the swing trading. Now we're back on the charts. So if I can get a setup in today, more than likely I should be all set, but I don't want to look for any day trades tomorrow during that meeting. So right now we are currently looking bullish on the US dollar Canada. We recently broken out of a month-long range, and I'm going to mark that up right here. So those of you that can see visually, there's a month-long range that was going on from July 7th all the way through about August 7th, so about a month long. Price came up, very strong bull trend, a lot of strong momentum coming towards these highs, and we did break with a retest and a continuation. Now, that first retest was not strong enough for me to enter a trade, so I'm not interested in that at the moment. But afterwards, that was followed by another pullback, and I was looking to see if the bears were going to take it back on down to the previous range. And if that happened, maybe a possible reversal. We don't know until it actually did happen. And the bears did come back down, but they weren't too strong. And bulls try to pull it on up. See, this would be the first area of interest right here, this buy. Now that buy failed, and that could be an issue. Well, that buy was 52 pips. Looking at the previous wave preceding that buy, it was about 130 pips. So it was a solid amount to take a long on. But for some reason, that buy was not successful. And we did have a stop out. Now, I was not long this pair, but I'm just reading price action. And after that stop out, it looks like a slight recovery. And price is currently testing those highs again. Now, this bear trend is over. To me, it's over. Right now, we are currently pretty bullish. And there was a strong little pullback, and that was a little interruption. But right now, we are clear to look for buys. If I'm going to look for a buy, I need to know a couple little factors. I'm going to highlight that right now. So there's the highs of 1.35009. Those are going to be met. But since we are still a part of a stronger up wave, and that was probably the only like conflict that I'm seeing, I do think that price will continue going on up towards 3 month highs. We can see some of May highs right here around 1.3637. I don't know how much of that space it's going to fill, but I do know that if I'm looking for a potential buy order, I'm going to drop down to my 5 minute and see just that if there's a possible buy. Now, if you did go long on this, you might be in a little bit of trouble because, as you can see, the entire past couple hours, price has actually been coming back. And that was almost 3 hours. Price has been in a rejection of these highs of the day. And that could cause some conflict moving forward. Because if I were to be in this trade a couple of hours ago, right now, my stop loss would be close to being hit. And that's not good. So this is a little conflicting. Maybe because we are still kind of hitting these little pullback highs right here on June 5th. And I would like to have seen in an ideal world price to clear those highs and stay above those highs with the pullback. But since the pullback is just starting to like come back above those highs, it is still conflicting with me. And if I have a conflict of interest, I'm going to just pass on this pair. So I do know that it's a possible bull run, but I don't want to have a trade that, I'm not 100% with. Let's take a look at XAU USD gold spot. I'm going to take a look at this pair. It's been on a pretty strong downtrend, pretty consistent downtrend this entire month. Now we are encountering some lows, so I'm going to take a note on that. We do have some significant lows right below, and I'm not too sure if the valid setup. There may be. I don't care about this little wick right here on the 10th. I'm currently looking around here, and I do see that price, give or take, if we have 125 pip stop loss, we still, even 100 pip stop loss, it's still not a solid target. And with that being said, I'm going to skip this one as well. I just don't see a valid target or a good reward to risk. I'm going to skip that. Now we're going into silver. Same, we've encountered some lows, some updates. We're hitting some lows right now, and we're just congesting, telling me that the trend is slowing down. Of course, it could speed up or whatever, but I think that this is profit taking and a point of reference. So just going to leave that one alone as well. USD was extremely ugly last week. It was in the range you could see from the 31st of July all the way through. So I don't like this pair because it's not doing much. And I did take a loss in this pair last week. I tried to go for a top formation and sell it. Unfortunately, price was not going down, and it did hit my stop loss. And then after that, it just kind of just faking out, moving back and forth. So I'm going to leave that one alone as well. In an ideal world, I need to see 0.88117 taken out. And even if that's taken out, I need to see price move on up, preferably around 0.88880. If it could hit that area or at least come near that area and then pull back, then I'll look for a potential long. If not, then I'm going to sit out on this pair. And for me to go short, I need to see price. This range is now expanded, by the way. I need to see price break the lows of 0.86633. And if that's the case, then maybe we can go for a short. But then again, I need to see it break it and continue on down and then a pullback. If it breaks it and then it comes back into the range, there's a possibility of going long back to the highs around 0.88117. But because in real time price hasn't been there, I'm just gonna leave it alone until I can see the price action play out. As of right now, it's moving sideways, and I don't want to guess nor predict when there's other opportunity in the market. Euro AUD, extremely nice. Looks like a very nice bull run. It's strong. We recently had a breakout and we had a conflict though. So as you can see right here around the 7th, we had an uptrend continuation. Price pulled back a little bit deep and it went into that range that was going on since August 3rd. Price then peaked on out and is struggling to break out. So at that point, this is a significant high. This high of on August 8th, around 1.68583. This is a significant high to me now. So yes, we have the fact that price is currently breaking on out of that, but now we're having another pullback and it's not as strong as I would like it to be. So I'm gonna leave that one alone. GBP AUD, very similar to Euro AUD. It kind of mirrors that pair. It just moves a little different. NZD CHF or NZD CAD, apologies for that. Very strong bear run. At this point, it is hitting a significant low. So I don't want to mess with this right now just because it's not really bearish nor bullish. It is bearish right now, but it's hitting the lows of the previous bull trend. And as you can see, the buyers are matching the sellers at the moment. And this pair, I'm going to set aside. You see the buyers right here. You see the sellers coming on down. If you draw a line in the middle of this range, you see that it's about a 400 pip range. So the buyers took it on up 400 pips. Sellers took it back on down 400 pips. And we do have a significant swing low right there. So I'm going to leave that one alone because I don't necessarily know if it's going to break out and continue, which ideally I would like to see that happen. I would like to see a nice strong, maybe like 100 pip breakout to the lower, like somewhere down below here. I can see price break out, 75 to 100 pips. Maybe then I'll be able to look for a short. But if it does start stalling out and reversing, I could actually look for a long. And as of right now, this area that I marked up, 0.80934, would be a high point that I would be looking at because you can see that there was a range. Price was testing some recent lows. It tapped once, pulled back, tried to break it again, pulled back, and then it finally broke it out on its third attempt. And it's not that strong yet. And I would like to have seen price also break these lows since it was so close. The lows of June 28th ish around here. If not, then we are in conflict as well. Like I said, central bank meetings are around the corner. So the fact that we do have a couple central bank meetings this week, it could make the markets indecisive just until after the meetings. That's the time when the economies get together. The banks, major banks, and if it's a European central bank, which is what we're going to have tomorrow, they're going to all get together. All the major banks in Europe going to meet in Germany. The ZEWU index. I'm not a fundamental guy, but I do know when these times do come around, the markets can become a little choppy, and you have to take precaution before getting into any swing trades prior to these announcements. Afterwards, it's totally fine to trade, but these are market shifting events. This is why it's been quiet leading up until tomorrow. It was quiet for the past week, and now we might have some explosive moves coming out of this. Let's get into BAC. BAC stands for Bank of America Corporation. You can see it right here. And I do bank with Bank of America as well. So I do like to watch this pair. We have encountered a pullback. If we look to the far right, and we are currently moving on out of it. So it's Monday. I need to see what happens on the stock market open. Of course, if the stock market opens bullish and we break past 31.98, then I'm going to look for some buy entries and I'm going to take this pair on up more northbound. Now, it has no conflict. It has nothing that I'm concerned about. If I do have a stop loss of about 17 to 18 pips, I'm looking for 34 pips. So this is not a significant area. I don't care about that area right here. I'm more looking at these highs right here. So it looks like there's plenty of space to go northbound. This is Bank of America. It's been in a sideways movement since March. So hopefully we can continue with this bullish momentum from June. And that's all I'm going to do on that one. Meta, let's take a look at Meta on the daily chart. Meta also, it's encountering a pullback, but it's not anything huge. Looks like a break of 323.50, and I will go long again. This is Meta Platforms. So those of you that have Facebook or Instagram or know about the metaverse, this is Meta. It's a very bullish stock. It's been going up all year long, especially since the induction of the metaverse. So take a look at that. Euro USD. This is my day trading scalping pair. Wow, look at that. Major down move. German session just opened up. I'm going to take a look at this. I day trade this pair, so I don't swing trade it. So in about an hour when it's a London Open, maybe even sooner than that, I might trade in like the next 30 minutes. I still need to see 15 pips in the past 2 hours, so it definitely needs to drop a little bit lower. I'm going to make this a little high alert. And of course, we're at some lows right here. So the past hour as well, it's barely moved 10 pips. And I do need to see it move a little bit more. So I'm just setting some alerts. So if it does trigger these alerts, then I can look to trade. But until then, it's in extremely tight, choppy market conditions, not conditions that are favorable for me, nothing that I would like to actually trade. So there was a really good, solid down move that just happened the past 2, 3 minutes ago. But I don't trade anything pre-German, so it's good to see. But I need to see a follow through. I'll be back with that later. Volkswagen's has been bearish, been trash, garbage. It has been crashing. I'm not even a fan of Volkswagen cars neither, but there's been a lot of issues with Volkswagen in the past year, and it's reaching April lows, and I don't want to trade this at all because on a daily, there's no pattern. I wouldn't try to hope for a breakout lower, and I don't see a buy setup yet, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. We have a German bank right here. I don't want to butcher its name, so I'm gonna leave it out. It's Deutsche Bank. Very similar to Bank of America. Maybe the banking sectors are on the rise. We'll see. IBE makes your computers. It was a little bearish. It has been declining, but we are at some support. Amazon bullish. Looks like price is going to test 146.35 highs. So I'm gonna look over there to the far left. I'm gonna mark this high off and let's see if we can break those highs. Because these are significant highs, I don't want to buy into these highs. I like to see price gap up and have a nice breakout pullback, and then I'll be looking for further highs around 172. Perhaps that will be the next area of confluence, and that is that on Amazon. Tesla, I'm gonna take a look at Tesla right now. We are encountering a major pullback. Now, this is deeper than I would like to see it if I'm looking for a bull run. You can see 238.80 lows have been met. I marked these lows off a couple of weeks ago, and you can see it's just hitting those lows. I'd like to see a bottom formation back to the higher end of this range. If I can see that, then maybe I'll look for some longs. But as of right now, Tesla is in some congestion. You know, I would preferably like to see it hit and break 273.21 highs. If it could break these highs right here, this little downtrend that we have going on for the past couple of weeks, it could end. And that way I could look for a possible long to, I'm going to mark it off right here, possible long to the most recent highs of 300.19. So I'll come back to that. LVMH, Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy. Taking a look at this right now. This is my first time looking at all these pairs, by the way, too. I just start recording and I show y'all my raw price action reading. I interpret price as I see it. I don't really do any homework other than that. I trade in real time, so whatever price action is telling me in real time, that's what I trade based off of. And I still remember my previous week's analysis and the directional bias in which I was going on the daily charts. This is the minute. Apologies for that. On the daily charts, it takes a lot longer to move, and I trade off the minute on average. So for me, it's it's easy for me to pick up on where I left off if I'm looking at the daily bars. Right now, LVMH, we have reached a significant low. Once again, you see all these horizontal lines. That's because I was marking them off because I was waiting for price to reach these areas before a week ago. It was not necessarily there yet, and we did have a pullback, but the pullback wasn't strong enough, and the entry from that was not strong enough to take it on down. If I was to take a sell on this pair, that there was a little pullback, but I would need to get in right around. Show y'all real time. Minute. Yeah, this pullback, I would like to have gotten in around 837, and you have like a 200 or 2,000 pips stop. So I need at least 4,000 to the lows and see that it's not really there. So I knew this was going to be conflicting, so I didn't want to take a sell on a swing trade. And on top of that, we are in a long-term range. Been going on since April, and I just didn't want to mess with this. So maybe we can have a pop up. If we're looking for a breakout, if I'm looking for a breakout, I like to see the highs of 871.63 taken out first, and then a little pullback that gets into some 4-month highs. So we'll see what happens there. Canada JPY, we are at some resistance. We've been at this resistance for a little while now, and I did mention that I did have a CAD JPY breakdown earlier last week. I think it was 2 weeks by at this point. So yeah, I didn't want to go long just because it was conflicting with these highs over here, about 45 4-hour bars away. So around July 31st, there was some swing highs that failed to break July 19th highs, and this was significant to me. And so if price didn't break those highs and pull back, then it's still a weak uptrend. Therefore, we could possibly be reversing to the downside. I'm going to show y'all where I would put my horizontal support if I'm looking for a short on this. Verbally, I would like to see price break below these lows right here of 106.920, and then I'll be looking for a possible short swing trade to the downside. That'll be my next trade, and then I'll take it down to maybe 105.720 lows first, and then if there's a good 2-to-1 to those lows, and then if those are broken, then we can look further down. That's CAD JPY. So right now, it's just on moving sideways. UJ, very similar. You can see how these correlate. July 3rd highs, and we are currently approaching that, just like CAD JPY. Price attempted to break those highs back August 1st, and it failed. And we have broken on out, have a pullback, and have a nice trigger on to the upside. But we have another conflict, which is 145.161 highs. You can see I drew a horizontal line up there too, and that's a conflict. We have NZDCHF, just like AUDCHF. This is very strong, very, very nice downtrend. It actually started last week, but I have not seen a pullback yet. So maybe today or tomorrow we'll see a nice pullback on the 4-hour to enter on. Right now, you're entering a little too late to this downtrend that's been going on, and it doesn't even look like a downtrend. It looks like it's the first ever real thrust out of that zone. So for me, personally, the first wave is already over. So when price broken on down out of this initial range that's been going on, you can kind of see the zigzag up there. Price broke out of that range. It wasn't strong enough, so I was waiting for a stronger break. And then we finally get that stronger break. We have a solid pullback. And unfortunately, I did miss that entry. That entry was on the 10th, so that was last week. 3-4 days ago, so last Thursday, and yeah, you had a 33 pip stop loss. You have a nice 2-to-1 right now, but maybe some people are profit taking, and that gives me an opportunity to get into some sells. This is showing me that the sellers are stronger. They are picking up in momentum and gaining traction to the downside. So I'm gonna just take a look at that in a little while. But as of today, I don't want to take a trade based off of what I see. Nvidia, It's been going down on the daily time frame, but it looks like any moment we are hitting bottoms. Like it's a tech stock, Nasdaq stocks correlate just like the JPY pairs. Apple, it's a Nasdaq, so I'm gonna skip that one. GJ, same as the JPY pairs. You can see how this gets pretty self-explanatory, straightforward at this point. GU, GU, we are currently in a range. I don't want to trade this just yet. We have lows right here about 126,790. Price failed to break those lows back on the 10th of August, and we are just kind of moving sideways. These lows aren't broken soon, then I'm also going to look for some more further lows around here. 1.26, 160. I need to see those lows taken out as well. And because we're just struggling. So if we can get to be honest, I need to see these lows taken out altogether. And then we're also reaching another conflict. Right here, we have some more significant lows around 125, 780. If you look back on June 27th, those are also lows. So ultimately, I need to see price take out all of these lows. And yeah, if we can break down, have a nice little pullback around the 126 area or 1.2639 area, then I'm going to look for possible sells. But we could also be reversing, and I need to see price break down lower anyways before I look for a reversal. But if it does get a little bit lower, then start pulling back. 127,445 is going to be the area of resistance that I'm looking at breaking and taking out, followed by a pullback, followed by a continuation north. If we can get a solid 2 to 1, I'll be taking on up to 121, 1.282. Google, Nasdaq, Aussie dollar, similar like GBP They don't move exactly the same, but they are pretty correlated. You can see that on the 30th of May, we have significant lows. Once again, we're going to mark those off. I'm going to mark those off. We have recently just met those lows, and we have not broken them. So we could possibly be reversing, or we can have a breakout, pullback, continuation, or we can have a breakout failure and pull back into this range. Ideally, any of the scenarios will work. And yeah, if this bear trend is failing, then I still need to see 1 point or 0.65343 highs taken out, followed by a pullback and a 2 to 1 to the highs of 0.66170 before I look for a long. So I have variables that need to be met before I take any particular trade. So as you can see, the markets are not at clean right now. Right here, these are definitely meeting significant lows. UCAD and UDCAD, they move a little different, but still very similar. The 0.87084 price had just broken these lows, but once again, we're sitting on those lows, which is why I said the central bank meetings are very big announcements. Those can actually move the market. Euro JPY is extremely bullish, but there's no pullback yet. So the pullback is actually happening now, but there's no confirmation until 158.775 highs are taken out. I can see 158.775 highs taken out. Then I'm going to look for some longs to the north side. And yeah, at that point, I would love to take the EJ North. I'm actually going to mark an alert. This is a really good pair to look at. It's going to be on my watch list. I'm actually going to move it all the way to the left. Minute. Put my top pairs on far left. Euro NZD almost finished, y'all. This is nice. This is nice. And y'all see now, I found a trade. After scanning through all those pairs and saying no, 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 I found a possible yes. Now, Euro NZD has everything that I like to see. We've broken out of these highs. I marked these highs off already about a week ago. So you can see August, 5th or 6th. We have some highs right there. We have price break it. We have a pullback. We have a continuation. And it kept going north. And now we have a breakout of this. So we're triggered in. That's great. Now I need to get a solid 2 to 1. I could always go for more, but I always just look for 2 to 1. Just for my bare minimum. About 60 pips, 70 pips. We're gonna go for 140 pips north, which would land me at 210. Want to get greedy. Right around there. And yeah, in the forthcoming days, if price action does strengthen, momentum is gained on the buyer's side, then I'm gonna look for a possible extension of this. But as of right now, that's where I'm at. I'm gonna draw a horizontal line now so y'all can see this hard stop. So if price fails to break this, then we have reached a hard stop. Doesn't mean that it can't regain its bullish drive north, but it is in conflict, and so I'm gonna look for another strategy, another setup, another pattern that I have for second chance entries if that happens. Another thing that could happen is we could have that low taken out. We can actually have a top formation that we can take down to the swing lows of 1.80703. That could also be a scenario. But right now, it is a nice setup. Let's see the 5-minute follow falls in line with it. It's interesting, the 5-minute. We do have a little bit of a conflict, but we are still pretty bullish on the 5-minute. We had a little pullback, as you can see. Price is not going anywhere just yet, but it is still a part of a longer term uptrend. I'm going to mark off these lows right around here, 1.82, and that's going to be my hard stop in case price does continue on going down. Now, I'm not going to do a market order, but I will do a buy stop order. My buy stop order is basically going to come right above these highs at 1.83590. So I'm going to put that here right now. Let me do a 2-lot just because I don't know exactly what it's looking like. And I always do a little bit above. Perfect. I do like these. Basically, I just take it up to new daily highs. All it needs to do is tap those daily highs and we're good. And 1.82990, right? So 1.82980. I just want to see 757. Now I don't risk that much. I risk a third of my percent of my account per trade. So do a 1 standard, and I'm gonna do a pending order. Same thing. I'm gonna delete this previous current order. That's about that's solid right there. Try to go for about 350. So give or take, it's straight. It's okay. And yeah, I'm gonna take it on up to 1.84670, which is where I was gonna take it anyways. See the reward to risk to make sure it's 2 to 1. So 629. So I'm going for 105. I'm risking 63. Not necessarily 2 to 1. Maybe there's something I could modify. I'm gonna look at the most recent wave size. That's another factor. See if I can extend this. And most recent wave size, about 170 pips. Give or take. I could expand this a little bit more, so I'm gonna go for 2 to 1. About 130 pips. Now, if the stop is a little bit wide, I could, in fact, go for new swing highs. Yeah, I like this. It's only a 2 to 1, but it's solid. I'll be able to trail my stop along the way. Not the cleanest, as you can see, but it is still a trend that I'm willing to take if we continue north. I had a little conflict of interest. I see that there is a significant low right around here that I marked off. So I want to just measure the wave from these lows. Still a part of the same up wave. About 260. I can actually go for 3-1. And I can get 180 pips out of here. I always aim for 3-1, by the way, which is why I'm just trying to adjust it slightly. And that's it. That's the trade that I'm going to take. So Euro NZD, I'm going to look for some possible longs if it can break daily highs. I still don't know, and I'm still uncertain, so anything is possible. But from what I'm seeing in recent price action, that's what needs to be broken. Oh, here's a bonus, Bitcoin. So those of you that are watching Bitcoin, I like to trade Bitcoin off of, I try the 4 hour, but because it's Bitcoin and it moves a little bit odd, because it's a crypto pair, I want to use it daily just to see, gauge the perspective of this. We are currently breaking onto the downside of a range, but we just rejected those lows of August 6th, and we are currently moving back to the upside of that range. So there's a strong chance if it breaks above 29,651, we could in fact be going north, and that would be nice for a bottom formation, and we could take it on up to 31,919 highs and possibly farther up. So on the 4 hour, I do have a strong uptrend. But we are in a little conflict, but it is still bullish to me. I would like to possibly go long Bitcoin. Might take a look at this a little bit after the video, but if I can have a 52,000 point stop, there's a possibility to take it on. Still a little conflicting on the 4 hour, so no guarantees. Like maybe after these central bank meetings, you might see some movement on this. So I might sit this one out just for a couple days. On the daily too, it's not really showing much strength just yet, so I wouldn't hop right into this. Yeah, I wouldn't get too excited because we could also see it reject these highs, or this is old support. Now it's acting as resistance, so we could see it reject this. And yeah, we hit the lows of 28,495. Unfortunately, you're going to see about a 300,000 point drop, possibly to 25,000 lows, which is actually a reversal trade coming back to the lower end of a several month long range. So that's it for Bitcoin. I don't know. I'm uncertain. I'm sitting on my hands on that pair for right now, but I'll get back to it in a few days. And that's it, y'all. I pretty much broke down every market I said I would. And safe trading. Good luck this week. Like I said, be careful. There's FOMC meeting on the 17th, which is in 3 days from now. That's on Thursday. And there's European Central Bank meetings tomorrow. So be careful with those two. Other than that, y'all have a safe and a great week. And I'll follow up with y'all next week. Peace.